Hi everyone, welcome to Ray Energy Tech YouTube channel. And the purpose of this video is to make sure that every home can afford an off-grid electricity. And here we have the components we are going to be using in setting up this 1 kVA inverter. So quickly, I want to identify these components one by one. So here we have a 100 amps battery, which goes for about 65,000 naira in the Nigeria market. Yeah, so 65,000 naira in the Nigeria market is just about $86, and that also depends on the present exchange rate. So here we have a very small 1000 watt inverter, and we have a transformer 1000 watts inverter as well. So we can also call this a 1 kVA inverter, and this also can also be called a 1 kVA inverter. They all do the same thing. The only difference is that this one has a transformer inside and this one doesn't have a transformer inside. So the cost of this small inverter is just about 15,000 to 20,000 naira. You can check your Jumia market to confirm the price. And for this big inverter, okay, for the small inverter, which is just about $20 to $26, and here the big inverter, we have the cost in the market is just about 95,000 naira. Okay, it's just about 95,000 naira, which is just about $113. And here is the charge controller, and this costs just about 7,000 naira in the Nigeria market, which is the equivalent of $10 in the which is the equivalent of $10. And here we have the branch cables, each will cost around 1,500 naira to 2,000 naira now in the Nigeria market, which is just about $2 to $3. And here we have our solar panels, and each will cost about 35,000 naira right now in the Nigeria market. So the capacity of all the things we are using here is 12 volts. We have a 12 volts battery, we have a 12 volts inverter. Here is also a 12 volts inverter, but because of the purpose of this class, which is affordable off-grid electricity, I'm going to be using this small inverter. And here is a solar panel. It's also a 12 volts solar panel. You can see here we have 100 watts. We have 10 charging amps. We have the DC to be 1000 volts. So it's also a 12 volts solar panel. So, and this is the cable that will be used to connect the solar panel we have here. And setting up this inverter, we need these three tools to set it up. We have the screwdriver, we have a tester, and we have a plier. Yeah, so part of the tools we also need to complete this installation is a size 13 spanner, depending on the terminal of your battery. Here we have a size 10 screw on our battery, size 10 nut on our battery. So now we want to connect the inverter with the battery. So we are going to connect our battery to the inverter, and making sure that the polarities are correct, the positive terminal must go to the positive terminal, and the negative terminal must also go to the negative terminal. So just as you can see, a battery does not shock, so it is absolutely safe for anyone to touch the battery. So the only place that can shock is when electricity now comes out from the output of the inverter. So just like I said, I've always said in my previous classes, I said what the inverter does is that it converts a direct current that is coming from the battery to an alternating current for home use. So that is what an inverter does. The DC, which is known as direct current, does not shock, as you can see. So it converts your inverter converts the DC, which is direct current, to an AC, which is alternating current. So now that this has been set up, if we on our inverter now, it will work. You can see now the inverter is working. So let's switch it off. So the next thing we want to do now is to set up our charge controller, which is this. Then we can now connect it to the solar panel. Yeah, so before setting up our charge controller, we want to set up the solar panels. And here we have the cable of the solar panel. Luckily there is still sun. We have 12 volts solar panels here. Each one we have here is a 12-volt solar panel. Don't forget, all the things we are going to be needing for this affordable off-grid electricity using a solar and inverter system is a 12 volts. The battery is 12 volts, the inverter is 12 volts. Now we have two connections with our solar panel, but first of all, I want you to note something we have in our solar panel, and everything is applicable to every other solar panel. We have 12. We have the positive terminal, we have the negative terminal, and the same thing is applicable to this one as well, the positive terminal, and here the negative terminal. Yeah, so here we have a 12-volt solar panel, and if we happen to add 12 volts plus 12 volts, it's going to give us 24 volts. So there is we have two types of connection. We have the series and the parallel connection, but for the purpose of this, since our charge controller is a 12 volts charge controller, our inverter is a 12 volts inverter, and our battery also is a 12 volts battery, we have to maintain what is called a parallel connection. A parallel connection retains the voltage of the solar panel, but it increases the amps of the solar panel. But if we are to do a series connection, the implication is that we are increasing the voltage of the solar panel, which is going to be 12 plus 12, which is 24. But now we are going for a parallel connection. So what you need to do here is to pick the positive terminal of the solar panel. Hold it for me. And you pick the positive terminal of the two solar panels, and you pick up your branch cable, which is this. These are the branch cables. You pick it up and you plug it to the system. Positive, you pick up the positive and you plug it, and you pick up the negative now and also the negative. So um even if you have 3 4 solar panels, you continue to repeat the same steps. So now you can see the 4 wires have been turned, the 4 cables have been turned into 2. So we have the positive terminal here now, and we have the negative terminal here. So the next thing we want to do now is to connect our cable to the solar panel, and also connect the solar panel to the charge controller. So what we want to do now is to connect this cable to the solar panel. Put it down there. Okay, so, and we are also going to connect the cable down to the charge controller, and down to the battery as well. So this is our 2 solar panels. We have the negative terminal here, and here we have the positive terminal. So the next thing is to plug our negative terminal, our positive terminal, which is the blue side, to the positive, and the negative terminal to the negative side. But first of all, we have to make sure that the cable, the wire is not connecting together over here, so that we don't have to reduce the lifespan of our solar panel. So make sure that it is not touching, then you can connect it. Now, yeah, let's connect it. Yeah, can you come out? Yeah, so now it has been connected. So now the next thing is to connect the charge controller to the solar panel. And the work of the charge controller is to control the amount of energy that is entering into the battery. Since we have a 12-volt battery, so the amount of energy that must enter into our 12-volt battery must be 12 volts, and that is why we have the charge controller to regulate and to control the energy that is entering into our 12-volt battery. So here is the charge controller now. So as you can see, on the left side here we have the positive and the negative terminal for the solar panel, and here at the middle we have the positive and the negative terminal of the battery, and here at the right hand side we have the lighting, which is the output of that lighting is a 12 volts output. And so now we will make the connection, and the video will be back. So here are the terminals, and you have to make sure that you loose it properly, making sure that there is enough opening for your cable. So here, coming from that side, is the solar panel. So we have the positive here, and we have the negative terminal here. Please, it is important to note that the cable must not touch themselves, so make sure it is well tightened and it is well done. Yeah, so this is also a 12 volts charge controller. So make sure it is tight enough to hold the cable. Okay, so this is done now. Yeah, we have this already now. It is now connected to the solar panel. The solar panels are now connected to the charge controller, and now we want to have the battery connected to the charge controller. And here we have a cable that will be used for that job. We have the positive and the negative, and this is just a cable that separates the battery. You may not necessarily need to separate the battery, it is not necessary, but for the purpose of this, I have this cable already separated. That is why I'm using it like that. So this positive terminal of the cable will come to this positive side, and the negative terminal will also come to the negative side. Let's quickly do that. Yeah, the reason why I had this separation is to avoid any form of spark by the time I will be connecting my battery to the charge controller. So making sure that the positive terminal goes to the positive terminal. The positive terminal must go to the positive terminal, and also the negative terminal must go into the negative terminal of the charge controller. So you can see now that this is for the battery. It must be well tightened. Okay, so we have this set up already. Now we want to connect our battery and put it on the screen. Okay, you see now we have a 12.3 volts charged battery already, and the battery is still charging. So now I want to set this up inside. What I will do now is to bring this battery and this inverter inside, and so you guys can see it properly. So this is it, and it's just a simple setup. And if I want to charge with the electricity as well, all I need to do is plug this cable to the electricity, and I'll be able to charge back my battery. You see now the inverter is still connected to the battery. This is the positive terminal of the inverter, and this is the negative terminal of the inverter. And you can see I want to switch on the inverter. It's working now. So now I want to bring in the battery and the inverter so that I can connect it to the house. So now the battery and the inverter has been brought inside, and this is our changeover switch. This is the charge controller, and you can see our charge controller now is still charging. We have 12.6 volts now, and here outside is our solar panel still outside there before we mount it on the roof. Okay, so now all you need to do is, in the previous video I made a video on, in one of my videos I made a video of how you can set up your changeover switch with the inverter, so you can check that out and look at it now. All you need to do is plug in your cable to the inverter. Now Okay, and you can switch it on. So it's been switched on now, and you see there is no light in the house. So all you need to do is bring down the changeover switch, and now we have light in the house. This is it. Now we have light in the house. Okay, so with this 100 amps battery and about 2 or 3 light bulbs, with this 12 volts 100 amps battery, we should be sure that we can we'll be able to use this for a period of at least 8 to 10 hours, and by the time the electricity is restored, all we need to do is we can now have another source to charge our battery as well. Yeah? By the time the electricity is restored, all we need to do is plug this to the electricity, and the charge current here will display red. There's a charge there. Okay, you can see the charge. So we have a working TV and a fan now. So right now we are on our inverter, and it is inappropriate to charge your battery back with the light you are using on your inverter right now, except the light has been restored by your electricity distribution company. So that is why we left it out unplugged. But as soon as the electricity is being restored by your electricity company, you can switch this over to NEPA or to your electricity company, and then you can now plug this to this outlet by the time the electricity is being restored. But since we have our charge controller here and we have a solar panel here, we can charge simultaneously at the same time. So thank you for watching this video. If you find this video useful, please subscribe and like our YouTube channel. And if you have any video you want us to make, please kindly comment on this comment section, and let's hear your view. Thank you for watching.